Welcome to the regular select board meeting for the town of Rutland. Today is May 5th, 2026, and it is 6 o'clock. We have Kurt Hathaway is on a fire call. There were brush fires all over the place today. So thank you, Kurt, for your service in that direction. But we won't be seeing him. Sharon Russell is on the screen and zooming in. Matt Getty, Mary Ashcroft, and Joe Denardo. So please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Have select board minutes in our packet, and this is from the April 21st meeting. And Kurt was here, but Matt was not. So we're going to rely on Joe and or Sharon to make motions.
I move to approve.
Motion's been made to approve. Sharon?
Second.
And seconded. Any discussion? I do have one change request, and it also raises a question on page 2, where we talk about the 2 applications for new members of our fire department. There are no names here. We did, and I'm not sure why there aren't any names.
I didn't see the application, so I didn't have the names. I don't know if you had, did you say the names?
I might have done, but I usually try to.
Anyway,
Anyway, if you could add the names in there.
Yep.
Okay, please.
You did, because you said where they were from.
That's right. Okay, good. All right, so, and with that addition, that's really the only thing I had. Any other changes from Sharon or Joe?
Nope.
Okay. All in favor of the minutes as amended to add the 2 firefighters' names, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. Yeah, I will circulate this.
Good. Me.
Yeah, right, okay.
We're
All right. Approval of orders. Have you all had a chance, maybe with the exception of Sharon, to look over the orders? The motion's been made to approve the orders
second.
and seconded. Any discussion on any of the items in there? Not all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. All right. Board member announcements. Does anyone have an announcement they would like to make? Okay. Update from Selectboard Chair. All right. The circle articles are due, department heads, May 15th, and this is the last edition of the circle going out before the summer. So if you have things to put in about summer activities or summer paging projects and where they might occur, or summer speed enforcement things, that sort of thing.
Don't tell them where that's going.
No, not really. Yes, but if you do have things, this would be a good time to include that. Thank you all. I saw the articles that you all did after town meeting, and you all thanked the voters, which I thought was a very nice touch. All right, another update. The intermunicipal committee met with the city, and you probably saw the articles starring our own rep director about the cooperative venture we're doing with the city and what we hope to do in the future. So the big thing is Friday Night Live, which has been a downtown Rutland thing, is going to be held up at Northwood Park on July 3rd. So there needs to be some coordination around that. Mike's on top of it. And I think Ted was there as well. So our police department was there, and a good time was had by all. And we're getting nice comments about the cooperative atmosphere, by the way, folks. Okay, one last thing. Marcia Chaffee had a wonderful farewell party here last, was it Thursday? And kudos to Marie and Kathy for providing the refreshments and getting the invitations out. It was a very nice event. So we will miss Marcia. We appreciate all of her work. I did stop by. I did not have a pastry, but they looked wonderful. Okay, any questions from the floor or public comments before we dive into the agenda? And I'm not seeing any, and it's the usual suspects in the room, so I think we're all set. Okay. We're going to go slightly out of order under action items. The board to meet with Joe Anthony regarding Diamond Run Mall property, and David Grake, who represents the developer, is here as well. Would you like to come up?
Sure.
Yeah.
Over there.
Then people can see you.
Okay.
All right.
So I thought I'd start out by just giving you an update to where we are. I know you have particular topics that you want to address, but I thought you might just appreciate knowing where we're at and where we hope to be 2 weeks from, right? Today's the 5th. We're due to be here on the 19th as well. So, did you know that we're due to?
We saw the request.
Good. Okay.
Okay, and that's for the municipal impact questionnaire. We'll see as we get closer. We've got to get like police committees meeting. We may need to give time for our folks to meet one last time with their department heads.
Sure. So where we're at is that the Act 250 application for Walmart project, the last real piece that we had to put together was the service agreement with Marble Valley Regional Transit, and that's been accomplished. So there will be, as part of the proposal, fixed route, open door, regularly scheduled daytime public transportation service daily from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. In accordance with a schedule that's been worked out. So it's not, it's at least hourly, except for a portion in the middle of the day where there's some gap. So we actually think that with the addition of the bus service, we're going to have a complete application except for the municipal impact questionnaire. And for those of you who might not be familiar with Act 250, once you have a complete application as determined by the district coordinator, or in this case, the state coordinator, that then triggers the statutory obligation for the application to move forward under certain statutorily required timeframes. So what Act 250 has been doing lately is to avoid triggering those deadlines. They've been employing a much more rigorous process where they're deeming applications incomplete, so they avoid triggering the deadlines that they perform under certain standards. So we've
for you guys.
I think for us, ultimately, it's not going to be bad, because the approach that I've always taken with Act 250, both when I worked for the program as general counsel and had to manage cases, as well as doing work for applicants, is ultimately the more effort and work you put in up front means the more efficient the final step of the process will be. I think what's happening, however, is that certain coordinators are abusing the authority to determine something's incomplete, because the standard is that the information that's been omitted has to make the application substantially incomplete in a material way. And I think what we're seeing is that instead of adhering to that kind of rigorous level, coordinators are deeming things incomplete just because they want to manage their workflow in a manner that suits them as opposed to the applicant. But with that said, I agree that the hearing process, we hope, will be much more efficient. In fact, we've been having discussions with the state coordinator about what might transpire once he deems the application complete. So in the meantime, what we've been able to do is, like, we were in front of the Rutland Regional Planning Commission, I think it was April 21st, and the RPC has done its work and has found the project to be of regional impact, and that triggers under the law, when a project is determined to have a regional impact, it means that the regional plan takes precedence over the town plan to the extent they're in conflict. So it's kind of like baboom, so now the regional plan, so they make that determination. And they also said the project conformed with the regional plan. So we've provided that to the district commission. A letter will be forthcoming. I'm pretty sure I sent the minutes of the meeting to Bill. I might have sent them to Bill. I can't remember. So, we have that piece, and I expect that we will be providing information to the state coordinator either at the end of this week or early next week, so that when we come back on the 19th, as I hope we're able to do, to present to you, we'll be able to say that the state coordinator has confirmed that we are set, but for the municipal impact questionnaire. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing there. We think the bus service is of huge significance. Walmart will be paying for it. It's $112,000 a year to provide bus service. And that is substantial, that's a meaningful payment. And it's our belief that the bus service is very useful for everyone concerned. So there's no opposition on Walmart's part or my client's part to doing that. Especially since the original request of the state district coordinator was to consider a sidewalk going from the intersection of Route 7 and Diamond Run Mall Place up the road, hitting kind of where the Spartan is, and then going down the property. And for various engineering and practical reasons, we really think a sidewalk is not the way to go. And we really believe that the bus service is the way to go. And we're hopeful that that is satisfactory to both the state coordinator and making the determinations that he described in his original incomplete letter, as well as the commission. So, that's what we're doing. And we've got that piece signed. It's with Marble Valley Regional Transit. That will be part of the application. Once something is part of the application, it becomes incorporated into the permit, because the first condition of the permit is that the project will be operated in accordance with the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and everything you said in your application.
All the promises, right?
Right. And you know what? It's not, It makes sense. If you make representations, then it becomes part of the project. And then, of course, that can have consequences down the road. If you make changes to the project, it triggers another permitting requirement. So this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're doing. This is an arduous task. It really is. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, or am I asserting that, any one or group of institutions, authorities, or anyone bears kind of a responsibility for making it arduous. It just is. I suppose, if I'd really known what was going on when I had the opportunity to meet with Art Gibb and Jim Jeffords, I would have said, do you realize what's happened since you passed this law? But I was still young and didn't know what I was doing. So I missed that opportunity. I failed to take full advantage of that opportunity.
It's all your fault.
Exactly. So we've been doing that. Now, Joe Anthony is here with me. Joe's back there. I know that you wanted to hear about, I think, sequencing, demolition, and as well as the project. The mall has to be demolished. We know that. Demolition is an activity that by and large people don't want to be responsible for. The implication of waste generally carries potential liabilities that people don't like to be responsible for. It made sense originally to break the project into two pieces so that the owner of the property, which is BAI Rutland LLC, would be the sole permittee for the demolition, and that is the case. Then that process took longer, I think, than we expected, and we were headlong into the permitting for the Walmart.
And ultimately, it has become necessary for practical reasons and efficiency reasons to keep those activities linked so that when we have the Walmart Act 250 permit, which I believe will be issued, I believe that this project will be issued an Act 250 permit. I think it meets the criteria. Then all the activities are going to be able to commence and run consecutively as well as concurrently. And as you've seen, there has been fencing. You know, there are individuals who like to bash the fence. There are people who like to break their way into the building. And that is a reality that the landowner accepts and deals with as best it can, given that this building will be torn down. So I don't know, Joe, is there anything you wanted to add on that topic?
Yeah, matter of fact, I talked to Justin 15 minutes before this call just to see how he's progressing. Tells me the fences are mended, hopefully for forever. And or maybe 24 hours, 48 hours, but they are mended. The property's boarded up. Justin would rather not deal with trash, so Hubbard Brothers is doing the cleanup of the new trash. We put in some new protocols and procedures. Steve, who's a wonderful man, gives me a heads up and my team a heads up if he sees anything else. Remember, that's the only active tenant. Justin has multiple cameras up, but the problem is when they run through the fence and they do it fast, he can't get the license plate numbers, right? We've also beefed up some of our vendors. And I hired a new person that is basically, this is his project, right? The good news is hopefully we're right around the corner from starting construction. But I know we had a little mess to clean up. That mess is being cleaned up as we speak. We will report back here shortly. I know we have some events coming up, graduation and some other things, and it will look a lot better. And Justin has also added some new safety precautions. But I wish I could stop people who just want to. Basically, what happened? They just run over the fence, and then I put a Jersey barrier up where they ran over the fence so he could mend the fence, and then they just picked another location to run over. Right? All this happened within the last couple of weeks, but it is being tended to. We will have probably 50 cameras up when construction starts between Walmart's camera system, our camera system, etc. I do want to talk a little bit just about what David talked about on the demo. So no one wants to demo this building more than I do. I think I've known you guys now for a long time. I've been to a lot of these meetings, but here's the biggest problem. The biggest problem is I demo, and then we work on the pad for Walmart. So the pad is kind of from Walmart's perspective and really the project's completion date, the most important. That pad is where the Walmart's building sits on. They are basically 11 months from the date I deliver the pad that they will be done and start fixturing, et cetera, et cetera. And having done this 15 times for 30 years, I know what happens if I demo, do the pad, and then winter conditions come. Walmart said, thank you very much for doing all your work. Heat it, cover it with blankets, and then we'll certify it and test it again once it thaws out. Okay. That's hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million to do. The other thing, and the biggest reason, is Justin Belden. He's our contractor, is going to do both the demo and the pad delivery. He can't mobilize, leave his crew there or have a delay. He wants to certainly go from start to finish. Mobilization for a project like this is significant. But most importantly, because demo and kind of hopefully this Act 250 permit are kind of coming together. We've redone our staging. We're going to demo a portion of the Sears, move that stuff out of the way, deliver Walmart's pad in hopefully 60 to 90 days. So Walmart can start construction, finish the rest of the demo, finish the rest of the site work. Basically what you do is you do the pad first, then while Walmart's building their building, you come back and do everything else. So although it looks like kind of we're delayed, no, because we flip-flopped the order. So it's really, 13 months from the time we get our Act 250 permit, give or take, maybe 15 months, we should have an open Walmart. That's the goal. And I know, Mary, and the rest of the board, you're going to hold me to that. So that is.
We were going to hold you to the demolition, which was, we were told, supposed to happen this spring, and we're running out of spring. And it of course draws our resources up there. The police get called. I think the fire is hesitant to go in. I don't live too far, so I drive up around there periodically. I know Joe does. And now the winter campers, or the campers who left for the winter because the housing program opened up, are now without housing, and they're going to be back. So this is not just wanting the place to look pretty. This is a real public safety problem. And it's the place is a mess. I mean, it's become a dumping ground. And basic, urban planning says if there's activity on a site, there's less apt for that to happen. But there's been no activity. And so it's just a target for people going into the property, people dumping all kinds of stuff on the property. You've got to clean it up. We have, as a town, been after other landowners who have unsafe and unsanitary conditions on their property, and we're going to have to hold you to that. We were hoping with the demolition occurring with a lot of activity this spring, that would no longer be a problem. But now it's looking like this is going to stretch out for quite some time. So that's my observation, and I'm disappointed we didn't start demolition as we had been told. I think Matt may have something and Joe may have something. So,
Well, I think you covered some of the things I was going to ask about, but there are things probably that happen we never hear about, and so can't comment on them. But just from what we see, I haven't seen any evidence the years that I've been here that your security crew does anything at all. It seems like the problems accumulate, they filter up to Bill, he reports it to us, and then we hassle you about it, and then something happens. But it just seems like there's no proactivity regarding keeping people out of there. And I realize there's a bunch of jerks who are bad actors who are making your life miserable, and I'm sympathetic to that. And there's going to be limits on what you can do, but it just seems like every time we have one of these meetings, problems start again and reaccumulate, and then there's an effort to address them, and then they reaccumulate, and whoever's supposed to be keeping you apprised of what's going on there just doesn't seem to be happening from where I sit. And like I said, maybe I'm not. There's things happening that I never hear about, but that's what it looks like. And if I'm interpreting all the timelines right here, it sounds like we're maybe 2 years away from having this thing done, maybe a year away from now demolition starting. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what Belden's schedule is going to look like, even if you get this permit as fast as you hope to get it. And I'm sure what that timeline looks like, but nothing about the Act 250 is fast, obviously. So it seems to me we're looking at next year for demolition. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But if it's, however long it's going to be, I'd just love to have more proactivity around addressing these problems that keep happening on that site. I mean, the Spartan is trying to continue to conduct business. There's going to be a big public event up there at the end of this month, and I want people to be feeling safe when they're up there at that property.
and thank you, Joe, for allowing the overflow from our raffle, the Rotary raffle parking to use your property, we appreciate that. We do. But that's all part of wanting to make sure the place is safe. And a lot of eyes are going to be on that property.
Understand. I'm sorry, your first name, what was that again? I can't see that. Matt, I agree with you. And we have RFPs out to change security and a different process, but I don't disagree. My outside security company will be changing. We've tried to work with them and figure it out. We're unable to, right? So we will have new security in place probably by the end of this week. But again, David, I would like you to address timing on what you think, or I don't think it's another year before we start construction, but I agree with you. The vendors that we've selected aren't doing what needs to be done. I didn't have my whole team here, but I have two people working nothing but this. Next meeting, I certainly we can meet and discuss it. I promise you, Mary, it'll be cleaned up by the time the Rotary event is. It'll be even clean. It'll be cleaned up when we have the graduation, right? And again, it's a balancing act, but we will make sure that that the property is secure and clean for those events and going forward. I had a 2-hour call with Mr. Belden and his team yesterday, and all week actually. But again, I will assure you that this will be done. And I do have protocols in place now that get me quicker responses on when something does happen. So understand your concerns, and we will address them.
Joe or Sharon? Joe?
I have a suggestion. And Joe, I work with the homeless, have for almost 40 years. My idea would be, and you probably didn't think I'm crazy, but half my staff were homeless people at one time, is that you or your people go up and talk to some of these people. Say, you want a job? Keep the place clean. Keep an eye on the place. We'll pay you to do that. If you change the environment, you change the behavior. That's just my suggestion. I'm not going to tell you it's going to work, but it's certainly worth a try. And it will do several things. It'll give them a little pride if they're working there, and it'll keep your place safer, because if they're in charge, knowing the poor and the homeless that I know, they don't want somebody destroying what they're in charge of. That's just a suggestion.
Yeah, I think it's a good suggestion, and we will. Again, the problem is and I've shoot off just when I'm there, probably 100 people. These aren't people who want to talk. These people who know they're trespassing. I've signed hundreds of trespassing notices. I don't know if they're being handed to every single person, but most of the what's that?
Oh, well, not from the beginning.
No, not you are back on.
Okay, so I think, was Joe saying something? Sharon had made her suggestion.
Sharon, I think it's a great idea. I've done.
Don't hire that guy that we just saw, please.
Recently I was engaged by a company who does medically assisted treatment facilities. Commonly they don't want to be called methadone clinics anymore, right? But we do outreach. I'm doing some halfway houses in Frederick, Maryland. Yes, I think that's a great idea. I will get, I don't know, Maryland, for instance, my security, instead of arresting people, they call the outreach folks. We get them into a halfway house. we get them in the safe, we take them to our newly built methadone clinic, which is the largest in the region times 10, right? Again, yes, I agree with you. Let's see if we can't figure that out, right? Now, I can't let them be residents there, and that's what a lot want to do, right? And they go behind, it looks like you can't, by the way, the people that I've dealt with, again, I've spent a lot of time with outreach folks and folks who are in your business. And if you treat them with respect and you're nice to them, and they'll leave on their own usually, right? It's when you say you got to get out of here and you're mean and you're gruff and is when it usually backfires and then there's more of them and a situation gets created. So I 100% agree with you. I have folks in my own household that have mental illness, addiction problems, right? We all do, right? So I agree with you. Let me see what, if anything, I can do. But again, I just can't go one step forward and say, yeah, you're allowed to trespass and camp overnight. One of the people, I felt bad for him, and he had a dog and a family, and I was just like, again, you just can't be here. It's not safe. But I do know there's alternative campsites and other places where you can lawfully stay overnight, and maybe that's the answer. Maybe we do more education, give them alternative places to go. I've removed sometimes they bring their car up there and they can't get it out because it breaks down. I've removed automobiles and people and I think it's a great idea. So
Okay, let's see if Joe Denardo has anything he wants to add from the select board.
So once or twice a week, I tour the property just to see what's going on. I was there today, a few hours ago before the meeting. Most of the major trash is cleaned up. What I think most of the problem is with trash, Joe, is not people that are camped out up there. I believe it's people coming onto the property with their vehicles and just throwing stuff over the fence. There are 4 tires up there that come off a big truck or something that somebody's thrown over the fence in the last week. They weren't there last week. Mattresses and bags of garbage. I think a lot of that stuff are people, this is what they're using for, instead of going to the dump and spending money, they're asking you to take care of their refuse removal. That's what I think is going on. I have mentioned this before, and I don't know if you are allowed to or not, but I do believe that limiting access to the property to one driveway, maybe the one by the car wash and not the main one down at the intersection of 4 and 7, might help keep people out of there. I don't know, because that one driveway should be able to handle whatever events go on at the arena. They should be able to go in and out, because you're having there with 2 accesses to that building. I think that's part of the problem. Traffic is in and out of there constantly. I don't know if you could just block off that other one at the intersection and just leave one open. It might be easier for your people to patrol, see what's going on. Like I said, I was there today. There was 2 cars parked, a couple of people in each car. There was a black pickup driving around the building. I don't know what he was doing. And there was a couple of people at the arena. But the overall cleanliness of the place is much better than it was a month ago or 6 weeks. It's still
I was there about 2 weeks ago. It was still pretty bad.
But I think a lot of it is people just coming on your property and dumping their refuse up there. I think that's what a lot of it is. It's a tough task.
It is. And those of us with,
so your schedule with the concrete, this is how I got to work this backwards in my mind. When you figure 3 months, 90 days to get the concrete down for Walmart. If that is not done in sufficient time before cold weather, you incur a substantial cost. So if that concrete isn't poured next week, basically, there's no building this year.
No.
Next year's construction
Yeah,
site.
no, it's not the concrete, Joe.
This is
It's the pad that
the pad, yeah, yeah,
but
because they
it's
put the
not,
building
no,
up.
it's not concrete. It's compacted dirt and stone and aggregate
Right,
and three engineers look at it and certify that it has proper compaction and can handle the building of that size. So it's
yep,
not the concrete, it's just the pad itself. And then
yep,
immediately it gets certified. Walmart does their footings and starts the construction on the building. The concrete comes at the end,
right.
and the parking lot comes at the end. All of the lights and but again, to Walmart and to every Walmart developer, we all know this. Give me the pad as quick as I can, but that's the thing that takes a few months. I can't legally do that now, right?
Right. No, I understand
Uh,
that. I'm just trying to put a timeline together because if you can't get that ready to their satisfaction before cold weather, then you kind of have to wait.
not necessarily, but what I can't do is do the demo, let everything sit, and then come back to it later on. Or I can't um, um, do the pad and then have Walmart not be ready, right? Because
Yeah,
then I run the risk on the pad conditions, and I've had to do this before. Dig it out, start over. You don't want to be
yeah.
in that position. It's very
We don't
expensive.
want to do that.
It's very expensive. And it's a big project. So I specifically wanted to use a local contractor. Again, I wish he could do 10 projects at once, but some of this obviously is scheduling with my contractor and coordinating kind of being on the site a certain date, off the site a certain date, right? Um, and then flip-flopping the pad first, kind of the focus on the pad first to the demo, right? So it's kind of lots of things at play, including Walmart's timing, and there's a young man sitting across from him timing on that permit, right? And again, this isn't like $100,000 demo project. This is a multi-million-dollar demo project. A lot will have to be redone if my permit gets delayed a year, right? So including my legal obligations with Walmart, where I have to deliver on certain dates, right? To ask somebody to spend millions upon millions of dollars and maybe we'll get the legal right to develop is a hard ask for anybody, right?
Okay, so we have a full agenda still to get through, so I don't mean to cut you off, but I do mean to cut you off because we need to get to the rest of the things. David, any final wrap-up things that we should be aware of?
Just the logistics that we will be uploading, and I will be in touch with Bill. We will be, I hope back here in 2 weeks, you will have, I hope, at least a week with everything.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to think that we're going to be filed on the Act 250 database, at least by next Tuesday, so that you would have a full week to review the supplementary information that we're providing in response to the incomplete letter. We already did the initial filing, so it's not like there's nothing up there.
So I'd ask Bill if he would, I know the police committee is meeting. The fire committee isn't here. Sharon is, she's on the call. So fire will need to go over some of the things that we discussed, last fall or so on.
Yeah,
Just make sure that the chief's understanding and the select board fire committee's understanding is contained or be able to raise questions if they're not.
Yeah.
And highway, I'm not sure. Take a look. I mean, it's not our road, so just.
The highway impact has been
Yeah.
we are well below the thresholds of the mall.
Yes.
We appeared in front of the planning commission. We presented the project. I don't think there's any doubt the project conforms to the town plan.
Right.
So I think we're set on that. And we've got the regional planning commission all set. And, really, again, as far as I was concerned, it's the bus service agreement. And now that we have that in we're ready to complete that step.
The V-Trans is, that's their highway, so they would be the ones that would give you a hard time about something if somebody was.
Right, and we already did the traffic analysis. It's on the Act 250. It's on the Act 250 database, and we're well below the threshold. So that's been a relatively low. We took care of that variable early on, and it hasn't changed.
I mean, this doesn't generate any new traffic signals, nothing's different from it. It's all should be fine.
Yeah.
So David, now what is the optimistic timeline scenario?
So, depending upon, us satisfying your review, and that obviously you have your own schedule, so I'm gonna carry forward from when that happens. So from when the select board is completed, provides the municipal impact questionnaire, I believe the state coordinator, at least for himself, has said that he endeavors to review an application for completeness within 2 weeks of it being submitted to him. Now, I know other coordinators do not meet that standard anywhere close, but the state coordinator indicated that was the standard that he was trying to adhere to. So if we can get if we can, get the turnaround I'm hoping we're going to get, I think we will have a complete application determination sometime in June. And if we have it sometime in June, I would like to think that within 3 months, there should be a decision on a permit.
Okay, so if you get a favorable decision in September, then what happens?
I'd say September, October. So then you have to wait 30 days because there's an appeal. Well, there's actually a 15-day motion for reconsideration or alter period, and that stops the process in its tracks. Eventually 30 days has to go by a 30-day appeal period. So the permit technically is effective upon issuance, but since it's subject to subsequent proceedings, in my opinion, it's not final and binding because someone could appeal you. So we'll know, I think pretty early on, whether there's any party out there that wants to try and derail the project.
Okay, so but at that point it's cold weather, so we're looking at next spring, right?
Well, I think, the way we've been talking about it is we will at that point have 2 permits. And so, demolition activity can occur in the cold weather. I think what Joe was saying is that what he can't have is kind of starting one, stopping, leaving, coming back. So, I don't know whether it will ultimately be possible to have demolition commencing during the cold weather, with construction of the Walmart project beginning next spring.
And at that point, I will sweet talk Mr. Belden. I've known his dad for 20 some years. And again, when we have our permit, we're going to start work, one way or another, no matter what.
How are they coordinating this with the hotel project? Because obviously people are going to want that to be happening too as fast as it can. Nobody wants that hole in the ground and traffic's tied up downtown and stuff. So did they do both at once?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all that. Say that again. I'm sorry, Matt.
Asking about the coordination of this project. If you're hoping they're going to be doing demolition over the winter and they're also doing the construction, correct?
For the downtown hotel in Rutland City.
Right.
It's both Belden, right?
I think they're doing the site work there, but somebody else is probably doing the building. I don't know who's doing the hotel, but they're doing the site work, and they're working at 100, they've got more than one crew.
But
Winter demolition for them would be probably, okay, get stuff that's in your way out of the way, and then they'd be able to start with the pad area as soon as warm weather comes.
Well, one thing I do want to just real quickly, Joe's question. So I'm going to call Justin, see if we can put a Jersey bearer along the front, but would want him to take it down during the Rotary event and the graduation event, of course, because I think it's going to be needed for those two events. And I don't think you want to jam up everybody through that one entrance and exit. Unless if David, you tell me I can't do that, I would do it in a heartbeat. It's a great idea. If you told me that before and I didn't listen, my apologies, Joe.
No, what I'll have to do is I'll have to read the permits and see whether or not, and then I've got to contact
Yeah.
the state coordinator and I've got to see what they have to say. And then we have to worry about what agency of transportation has to say. So I know our efforts in the next 2 weeks are to get the application filed, and that's what I'm going to stay focused on.
Okay.
Southern entrance also used to have a big hole at the top of the driveway, so if that's still there, you probably just assume that people might be driving over there in the dark anyways.
Wow.
Yes, our police officer, Jimmy Plakas, would like to ask a couple of questions.
So 2 things. You said the building was boarded up. Do you know? I know you said you spoke to Justin 15 minutes before this call, but do you know when that was boarded up as?
I think his exact words was, "I'm on it. I had the fence mended." I don't know exactly which boards were up, but we signed a contract for him to board up the openings and mend the fence. I don't have an update on exactly is all the plywood up. I'll have that. I can provide that to David, who can provide it to you. But he thought he'd be done tonight, tomorrow. It wasn't a long project, right? So what I don't know, what I don't have an update is Hubbard Brothers, who's cleaning up the trash. I think they've done some of it. I don't know if they've done it all at this point, but I will have an update for David to supply to you all here within the next couple of days.
And second question.
Yep. Your last one is, you said you signed hundreds of trespass notices. We don't have those. So I don't know if that's something you can provide to us so that we can enforce them.
Okay. I will get the emails where they were sent. I think my assistant sent them, but it was some time ago, right? So like months and months
I know
ago.
whatever, then we can still enforce those, but we don't have them. So if it's
Okay.
still within the timeline, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll visit again soon.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And thanks for your time, both of you. We appreciate the updates.
Thank you.
And we're still very excited about this project. This is a huge, good redevelopment plan for our town. So,
And so are we. I just want to let you know on May 19th, I will be in sunny Las Vegas at our annual ICSC show. So I will be remote, obviously, for that meeting, but I would have loved to attend. It was just bad timing.
okay.
But I will see you in a couple weeks. And
I'll be here, and we're planning on having Jeff Carr, the economist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I figured you'd be curious or interested in fiscal impact issues.
Okay.
Because we believe the project will not have an undue adverse effect on your ability to provide municipal services.
Because we're getting tax money and that's your theory. Okay.
Yeah, well, local option taxes and property taxes. So,
Yeah.
So I thought I plan to have Jeff Carr here. He's the economist. Craig Jewett, of course, will be, because the site engineer, he will probably be remote. And I'll be here in person. If there are any other issues of concern that you want experts to address, just let me know and I will make sure that the person responsible is available.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Good evening.
thank you. Ciao. Bye-bye.
Alrighty. Any people here with any time constraints? Let me do it that way. All right.
Hello, Cal.
Mike Rowe, Town Rec Director.
Oh, we get a lot quicker than
Good evening. How are you?
Hi.
We had our first majors baseball game last night and they were successful. Field looks good. Everything has been mowed almost once. Dave was commenting to me about my mowing today. As a matter of fact, wasn't quite the most positive comment, but we'll take it for what it's worth. A little jealousy, I think, is part of that. Everything, all the water is on. The pool has been patched. The kiddie pool has been patched. You'll see a bill in a couple of weeks for both of those. The cover has been As they say, they shot it with a drone. And so the cover is in the process of being ordered because that will take a while for that. Other than that,
They took measurements with the drone. They didn't shoot holes in it, right? The holes were already there.
the holes were there, but they literally had to go around with tape
Oh,
and tape every single attachment where the screws go in to hold the cover. And then the drone gets it and makes it a computer. It was pretty cool. Bill would understand it, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. So all water's on, all activities are moving forward. Our pool signups are the 2nd and 3rd of June at the pool, which is coming right up. So that's when we can start to sign up for our summer, which is coming quickly. The plan is to turn it on Memorial Day Friday, like we always do. And we should be in good shape because that's not that far away. So as far as the town, our Rutland Town Community Day, that's moving along. I got a couple of usual suspects are attending and a couple others coming in. As far as the intermunicipal, we have another meeting next week, I think, the 12th.
it's in my calendar.
Maybe, I don't know. So I'm meeting with April tomorrow and we should have a pretty good idea. I already have, like you were there, so we have our musical acts, the actual big bounce house people that have a gazillion things, they're already in.
Nice.
So they'll be in. So now it's just kind of narrowing down vendors and coordinating with the city rec to what else can we provide. We're going to use essentially the entire park. What we thought we would do is close it off like where the fire trucks are for 4th of July. And then people park up to the right of the transfer station. And then it'll walk all the way down in the back though. Unlike the 4th, you can't. Like all the bounce house and all that stuff will be down in the back big field. So we'll have a couple of different, and the food trucks possibly lining the road going down. So that's what we're going to talk about in just fine. But that's what we have so far as the intermunicipal. Anybody have anything else?
Questions?
I do have a picture that I was meeting with the disc golf people on Sunday. And I just happened to look at the doggy waste basket to see, I cleaned it on Saturday. And I looked and then I looked closer and at the very bottom, right at the base of the basket, what do you think is there? Pile of dog crap.
I mean, out on the ground underneath.
On the ground, no bag, right there. So I took a picture and sent it to Bill with plenty of bags in, literally right below. So I did talk to one person today who I think is one of my usual suspects of deciding to leave his mark along the side of the road, and told him that was done. And the next time I will be calling you and we will trespass him if he does not clean up after his dog, because pretty sure it's the same person, just the way it goes in and out. Other than that,
Much easier to train a dog.
Yeah, really.
Well, he's trained them well because they go right on the road.
There.
Owners, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, we're in good shape.
Right. Sharon, anything from you for rec?
Nope.
Mentioned disc golf, did, I think it was Demetrio down there, did he reach out to you about?
He was on he was supposed to be there yesterday. For some reason, he didn't come, but I met with the other 3 representatives and we mapped out kind of our plan for how we want to move forward. A lot of it's based around making the tee pads better. So where they go from. So that's kind of where we're going. They're going to have some cleanup days that which they've done in the past where they go in and clean up the course and debris and stuff. And I was cutting up some logs today that had fallen over the winter. So it's a really good effort. They're a really good bunch of people to work with. Just kind of give them direction. But yes, Demetrio was part of it, but did not attend for whatever reason.
Maybe we should challenge the city alderman to the disc golf.
I think we should have during Friday Night Live, we actually have a hole that we could use. Pretty simple. We could do it for like, you
I
know,
don't
what could
wanna
we,
hear
what could,
dunking booth, I don't wanna hear that. I don't wanna hear speed.
oh, I love that
challenge.
idea.
That's
Yeah.
for somebody else.
Okay, what
Disc
about disc golf?
I,
And what could we put on the line for it though? Like what would we trade from Rutland Town that they would get from the city? I mean, you know, like when Boston plays LA, they trade lobster and whatever. What could we do to make it interesting a little bit? I want you to think about that because we can make that happen.
and I also wanna think about whether we could possibly win. So,
Well, I guess we're gonna have to look at the aldermen from the city and then our five and then pick our ringers from there.
okay, all right.
But yeah, I think that would be pretty cool to have a little mini
Okay, we
contest.
could do something.
It's a great
All
idea.
right,
And we have it right there.
thanks.
Yeah, Matt, there you go, Matt. Start working. I got some you can practice with. Okay.
Okay, anything else for Mike Rowe, Town Rec Director? Thanks for all of the planning that goes into this.
No problem. Oh, senior luncheon, I forgot
Yes.
to say, at West Rutland was a huge hit. We served close to 140 people. Well, we served the bands too. And
Yeah.
two towns. West Rutland was fantastic. Amy did a wonderful job up over there. We had pizza and desserts, and it was awesome. It was for about an hour and a half. And we had seniors helping seniors came in and talked, and Southern Vermont Council on the Aging was there and did a presentation too. So very well attended. Our next one is on the 19th at Baxter's.
Okay,
So for those seniors that would like to attend on the email, you got to give me your email to get the invite. That's the little hook I give. So if you'd like to do that. Other than that, awesome. Thank you.
okay. Thank you, Mike. Plakas, who is subbing for Ted Washburn. Welcome, Officer Plakas.
Thank you. It's Ted's
You
wife's
didn't have to
birthday.
dress up.
Oh, it's just for you. I was up north all day today doing a training, so
All right,
I made it back here just in time, and changing was not a part of that schedule. It's Ted's wife's birthday, so he wanted to do dinner with her. I figured we can give him the night off. Seems
good
okay.
idea.
One of the things I want to talk about was the mall property just not being secured still. We heard two answers from Joe, obviously. One was that it is secured, and then when pressed, it's gonna be secured. Not great.
One of the two little doors at the former, overhead doors, one was opened up that much.
Yeah, they did an okay job with the two that were banged in opposite ways there, right by the mall. But still, the overhead doors, as far as I can tell, are wide open. All you got to do is sneak underneath that fence, and then anybody can go in. Like, there may be people living in that building that we're unaware of, and I'm not going out of my way to go in
If
there,
there's nobody in there, Jimmy, I would be surprised.
alive or otherwise. When
Either way,
demolition starts, I'm not going to be surprised if we get some calls about them finding things that
yeah, you don't want to know.
right, but we're gonna know. That and then just our open spot being reopened or extended, if you will, just with the applicant having pulled out. We have received some applications, so
Okay,
hopefully we can move forward with something here.
Okay.
That'd be nice
Is that
to.
something we should be discussing,
I did
Ted will
put
be here.
other business,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
Ted will be here, so we can expand on that a little more. He has them, and we just received them.
okay.
We're not like
well, that and
in,
whatever happened with the first one, would
Mhm.
be
Ah.
something to review, don't know.
not exactly, but we can talk more tomorrow. The stats for the last couple weeks, 162 calls, 56 traffic stops,
JP,
mostly, yes. Yeah. 3 arrests, domestic, retail theft, and arrest on a warrant. And then some decent South End activity. 50 of those calls were South End. So we are seeing, and Lynn did the stats here. We're seeing an uptick again, but it's not like it was.
Not huge.
No, it's not like it was, right, with the Cortina and all of that, but we are still 47% for April, South End
Oh,
in
okay.
total.
That's a little higher.
Yeah, but with the warmer weather, that's kind of expected, right? It's with the plant and everything. That's it, nothing out of the ordinary.
Well, thank you for participating tonight.
Yeah.
And, you know, there is a point at which if you start a lot of calls up there, we'll want you to track them and
Yeah.
track your time.
Yep.
And because if we're providing security, we ought to get paid for it.
I agree. He mentioned something about changing security companies at the end of the week. If you guys hear about that, or Bill, can you let us know? We'd be curious, because
Yeah.
they obviously have those 2 or 3 camera poles up there that if you're inside the perimeter and you're close to them, they'll shout at you, "You're trespassing, you must leave."
Really?
Yeah, we found that out when we were doing canine training up there, and they kept yelling at us, and we laughed because we are the police. But outside of that, I don't know who he's paying, if he's paying anybody right now. I have not seen anybody up there in well over a year. So if they do end up switching at the end of the week, we'd like to know who that is.
All right.
So,
Thank
not
you.
to build, point that was brought to me about Green Up Day on Saturday
Mhm.
is traffic is atrocious when folks are out there. So
Mhm.
I would like you to forward a thought to Chief Washburn that maybe next year on Green Up Day, all of you guys and the constables can be out just patrolling the roads during the morning or whenever most of the activity is. It would be a nice thing. I don't know, but I had a number of people tell me that you're taking your life in your hand out there, and Dave would know this. He does it every day because cars don't slow down, they don't care, and you're in the way. So it's
Do we
just
know when next year's Green Up Day is already, or
it'll probably
First Saturday in May.
thank
be
you
the
for
first. Yeah.
First Saturday in May. Yeah, because I was greening up on Creek Road. And,
passed them.
Did you wave or beep?
I waved. I didn't beep. The beep is loud. It's an air horn. It scares
Oh,
you.
right, that would be good.
I did
Thank you for
wave.
not. My mental thought is, what are you driving by for? Get out here and help clean up. But no, I wouldn't have done that to you.
Appreciate that.
Okay, and yeah, I should add, thank you to everyone who did do Green Up Day in your neighborhoods. The town was looking very spiffy, so was the city. So thank you all for your efforts, and I like the showing of pride in our town. People really pulled together, so. Okay, anything else for the police department? See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, guys.
Dave Sears, Town Road Commissioner.
Oh.
Hi.
Let me first start by saying happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
Nobody else seems to care, but I do. And just to back up a little bit on the whole, I didn't know that was an option. But the backup on the JP thing, he actually pulled over my dental hygienist, and I had an appointment this morning, and she made me pay for that pullover. So in the future, we need to coordinate that.
And you
That was not good.
By money paid.
No,
Oh,
I did
dear.
not. I paid with
Okay.
sweat,
Yeah.
sweat and white knuckles. Don't think we've been to the sewer at that end of town a couple times. We have bucket. Anybody wants to look in it, you're more than welcome.
Thank you. That's the kind
So
of.
it hasn't gone away.
No.
No, and it's still occurring. Okay.
Yes.
I have made frequent trips to try,
Mhm.
you know, and I, you know, do we need to discuss any of this? Future pending litigation and executive session tonight, or are we just good for now?
I think we just need to figure out what we're gonna do, and we'll just keep going down there. I'm taking pictures of what we take out of there, timestamp, site stamp,
Okay,
and
good.
we're keeping the stuff in buckets.
I hated to ask you to do that, you know.
But I would like to take that into a courtroom. It'd be funny, but I had to live in a different world. We had a sinkhole on East Proctor Road. We went over and, I'm not sure where it came from. I have an idea. There's some pretty big riprap on the side of the road. And I don't know, with the frost this year, moved everything around and just created a sinkhole. So we cut it, kind of sort of patch it until we can pave it. And it seems to be holding up. So I think it was just a frost issue with moving the big rocks around, and something fell down in. It is what it is. The green up thing, that was pretty successful. Is about as much as we had last year. Just a quick inventory. We did 88 bags, 9 tires, 2 plastic fender liners, 2 tables and a chair. So we almost had a dining room set. 1 mattress, a sleeping bag, and 2 buckets of stuff, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, thank you for picking up. It
that
looks
was
really very.
that's
nice.
always fun.
Yeah. We had, I think, 2, 3, 4 of the tires.
What did you?
Not mine. No, no.
No, well, that's okay. No, we did drive by a couple that were just tires out in front of somebody's house that no bags or anything, it's just tires like randomly out, like, no. We did, make our friends in Clarendon happy with grading Porterline Road and Boardman Hill. So there were a lot of thumbs up and happy people about that. The pre-sale from, I never can remember their name. So Rutland County.
County Natural Resources Conservation
So
District.
that is at our shop on Saturday.
Set up on Friday and all.
They are, well, they're setting up now. They got a FedEx delivery today of like 9 boxes of root stock. So that's Saturday. They're all set. And just a little minor bit of maybe good news is we did get approval for, I forgot how they word it, the state for the Class 2 paving grant, which is Grove Street from Cussels to the Pittsford Town Line. So it's been approved from this, and it's got to go like upstairs for the big approval, and we should hear from about that in June-ish or something. So
Let me know.
If you could, in advance of the tree sale, make sure that the lunchroom and the restroom are cleaned.
have been,
Thank you very much. It's a fun event. A lot of townspeople are up there.
yeah. That's what I got.
Okay.
Uh,
Any questions?
any update in your excavator?
He called today. He was on vacation last week. The trailer showed up last week while he was on vacation. All of the pieces, parts and everything are there. He's was going to start either today or tomorrow on getting everything finalized with buy board. And we should be within a couple weeks, I would think,
Okay.
in possession.
There was something else, but it's gone. I had 2 things, and I don't write them down, but that one I did. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, that
Okay,
happens.
Sharon, anything for Dave?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Oh.
thank you. Oh,
I know what it was.
okay.
There we go.
Our plow truck.
Yes.
Any word on the plow truck we bought a year ago?
So I called Viking. This hurts me. I called Viking and he said that we have a build date scheduled for the middle to end of November. As long as it doesn't get pushed back, we should have it by the 1st of the year, maybe.
That's all that's better.
It's a definite maybe.
So, well, at least there's timeline now.
Well, there is, and we need to have a committee meeting at some point.
Okay.
Fairly soon. Have another idea for that because this is silly but I mean,
Yeah, I mean-
we've come this far, so we just keep going, or do we do something different?
We're
now?
close to 2 years.
Yeah.
By the time we get the truck.
Well,
We'll be
yeah.
20 months, because we approved that like in January, February, a year ago.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're gonna be a good 20 months.
Yeah.
And we're pretty close to thinking about the next one.
Right.
You know, if there's a 2-year delay, you almost.
Well,
gotta work.
He told me that they're scheduling for 2030 right now.
Okay, 4-year delay.
Right.
All right. So,
So as soon as you take delivery, order the next.
Yeah. kind of.
And then
I know. I don't know. I mean, I know there's a lot of hydraulics or something and stuff, how they do that, but I'm wondering, is that something Earls could do?
no,
No.
because they don't have the gear to do it.
All right.
If somebody, anybody that I talk to that has any kind of idea about going into business, I'm like, put a truck build shop in Rutland and they'll be lined up down the street week 1. Because this is the only game in town. I have another way around it, but I gotta
Yeah.
get
I
approved.
might have to go
I
over
gotta
and
get
talk to
approved.
Jim.
If they would do that, they would, they can't handle what they've got now,
No.
honestly.
No, I know.
I mean, you go over there and it's weeks before you see any of your equipment back. So him putting in
He'd have to hire another whole crew.
he'd have to put in another building
Yeah.
and the whole huge investment to get in. You'd make it back in no time, but still.
But it's a lot more than just pumps and hydraulic. I mean, there's a lot of electronics with the new trucks.
Yep,
Which
they're all electronic.
Okay. I was just trying to think of some way we could get it done locally and not wait this long, because all the components are available. Plows and wings and
Yeah.
frames and
Yeah, it's just Viking is the only state approved entity, and that whole electric truck thing shoved everybody into the market at once.
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen.
Is there some other entity that this state can approve?
Not without bidding it. They has to put it out to bid. Well, I mean, they put it out every year, but if nobody bids it,
Yeah.
there's only so much they can do.
Anything else for Dave? Okay. No, you're excused. Thank you.
Almost pulled a hammy there.
I want to go back for 15 seconds to Officer Plakas.
Yes.
Um,
You need to come back up?
no, this is actually an attaboy. Thank you very much. We had two speakers from CFAC in our Rotary Club, and they specifically talked about the cooperation from the city police department on their investigative work, and from Jimmy Plakas at Rutland Town for the work on the sex offender registry. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Chris Clark, I'm guessing, may not be.
He might still be in the woods.
Okay. Barbara Noise Pulling. Town Planning Commission. Bill, you gotta do a lighter blue on these.
Good evening.
Hi, Barbara.
So you have a set of subdivision bylaws from the Planning Commission.
Yes, indeed.
We finally passed it out at our last meeting. And I can go through the story again. I mean, they date back to 1980. They were amended at least once and not correctly or not following statute strictly. So they were a little difficult to redo.
I was on the planning commission back when these were first being used. So yes.
Yeah, we started the exercise in September of 23. But there they are.
Mhm.
And the highlights are that there's better definitions of minor and major subdivisions. More detailed definition of boundary line adjustments as opposed to something that's not a minor or major subdivision. And there is a certificate of subdivision compliance for minor and major subdivisions that Bill would keep track of. He would certify that they met that. And there's something that you can put into force here, if force might be too strong of a word, but the performance bond.
Yeah.
To ensure it's completed as proposed.
So would that be something the planning commission flagged and said, select board, you might want to do a performance bond on this one?
Good question. Yeah, I think in coordination with Bill that, yeah, we would do that.
Alrighty.
And I think we may need to fix up or you can probably do this. The select board can ask Bill to fix up the history, clean that up a little bit on the second page. And then the table of contents, I just noticed that the page numbers weren't inserted. Maybe we've got the sections, all 7 sections. Yeah.
So the so what would go in the beginning? Just the one pager with the map dated April 3rd, 2026, or the bylaws report, or are you just saying there should be something added to?
I think that the bylaws, I mean, maybe the first 2 pages could be combined. Maybe the history could be put on the cover page.
Oh,
And
I
then
see
go
what
right
you're
into the
saying.
definitions. Yeah, we
Okay.
would need the notice in
Okay.
there. For the warning.
Okay.
Necessarily. We did a lot of work on the definitions.
Mhm.
As well. And see, currently there's been a question about lease properties.
That would be neat. So,
So in the definitions, under subdivide, the last couple of sentences, or the last sentence. I'm not a lawyer, but I think this indicates that a lease would be grandfathered in. A lease will not be considered a subdivision unless the lease is effectuated by filing a plat, plan, lease agreement, or deed in the town records.
And what happens if somebody files the agreement or a notice of lease?
yeah. Which is, and let me tell you, I did flag this and I called Barbara about it. Man, my apologies to the planning commission for not being at the last meeting, but it was an intermunicipal.
You didn't miss it much.
Okay, well, usually a subdivision of land we think of as sale, gift, court ordered partition, that sort of stuff. And when I saw the word lease in here, I got thinking about just using my own property, and I suspect there's other folks in there. I lease out 2 houses with a yard around them. And if my tenant decided to go in and record that lease, then that would trigger the requirement for me to get a subdivision permit, which I haven't. I don't want to. Same for 2 mobile home spots. And so I think it can be fixed fairly easily by defining lease as a longer period of time, or shall not apply to, lease of residential residences, that kind of thing. But I would like the planning commission to take, and if the select board agrees with me, I think that's something that stood out to me that kind of made me uncomfortable. And yes, I know that if nobody records anything in the land records, it doesn't create a subdivision, but it seems a funny way of leaving that to chance. So
is there a reason we need anything after word subdivision, period? Do we need the unless part? Is there any reason why we would want this to create a subdivision?
I mean, that's a fair question. And I was thinking of the 99-year railroad leases that I used to run into in Bellas Falls. So that may be one of those things that, I mean, there's some options.
You haven't created a new lot.
No.
It wouldn't be a subdivision though if you're leasing. I mean, I wouldn't.
I don't think so, but
No,
if it's
because
just
you still
defined.
own it. You are just conveying the use of your land through a lease for a designated period of time. Once you sell it or give it to somebody, then that creates a subdivision.
Right. That's how I always understood
That's the way I
subdivision.
understood.
Yes,
Yeah,
but the
you could.
lease thing is,
Yeah, maybe it's
Because-
not my area, but I suppose you could use long-term lease to get around the whole.
Yes, you
subdivision.
could.
Like,
right.
you get a whole subdivision on your farm and lease them all. to
Yeah, you can.
everybody and-
Yeah.
In theory, you could, but as soon as you start building roads and things, then you're gonna trigger something.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't satisfy
No.
my concern. So I'm raising that concern. And if it's okay with the select board, I don't,
There's another option.
Okay.
If it's not considered a major change, you folks can make it. And it might be more expeditious if Bill just asked the town attorney what would be more appropriate language there.
Yeah.
Or was just talking about one sentence.
well, yeah, in a couple of other places. So,
Yeah.
I don't, you know, obviously I'm the one impacted and I'm the one raising it, so it really depends upon the other members of the select.
Well, it could impact a lot of people.
Potentially can.
There's a lot of people in town that have accessory homes and mobile homes.
Yeah.
Property that lease.
Yeah.
To other tenants that own all the property, own all the stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So. What's your pleasure? Do we send it back to the planning commission or just get
Cleared
the?
up, whichever way is the easiest, whether we go through Kevin, which
We
is okay.
probably should have.
That,
Kevin,
that would probably
because-
be the best way.
Okay.
We would do that we would do that too, so.
What's
It
your
might happen
preference?
faster if you, if the select board or not.
Good try.
Okay, so is your preference that we deal with it now and make a change? at the Select board level and not send it back to the planning commission?
I guess I would suggest that, after
Okay,
at the select board, yeah.
okay,
If these are insignificant enough that,
okay.
well, wrong choice of words there, but they can be fixed easily enough.
I think they can. I think they can. Now, does the board authorize me to talk to Kevin or?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right,
Sounds good to me.
all righty.
Well, you understand the situation better than me calling Kevin that said Mary's got this issue with this. It's like, no, Mary, just call him and tell him.
Okay,
Because you work with land, so we have
I
to
do.
rely on your expertise a little. My thoughts on this document is what, when somebody does a subdivision and the road section and the requirements and the references, this will ensure that a developer builds proper roads within that subdivision. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because one of the biggest concerns that I have with some of the subdivisions and some of the rural development and people building houses in places mountain goats used to live is that there has to be something that makes sure they put in, if they have to cross a stream and they're putting in a bridge or some kind that it's adequate to get a 55,000 pound fire truck across.
Yeah.
And I believe that's the portion of the document that covers that.
The 20% slope is mentioned several times in here. And also under the certificate of compliance
Right.
that Bill oversees, roadways and easements are.
And they reference state standards and they reference stuff that we abide by. And so that's always been my concern.
I think the old ordinance, I remember on the planning commission once, there was one of those developments way the hell up. And we said no, because the fire chief said I can't get a
Yeah, it was
truck
off
up.
of-
And it could have been
It
you.
was up off of Old Wood Road.
Yeah.
And it was Timmy Perry was chief at the time,
Okay,
that they wanted to put, I don't know how many houses up there and that. And he said, put them in, and it was funny because there's one house built up there and then we had a wildland fire up there behind that house. And it was like, we need some billy goats because we can't get here. But anyway.
so point well taken.
Yeah, but, well, there was the proposal to develop that land off of Post Road, down over the bank there, beyond home. And the guy wanted to put in a little narrow driveway down there, and I was like, no, ain't happening.
Right, and a narrow bridge.
And a narrow bridge, yeah, and pull offs. And I said, no, that's not gonna work. So,
It was,
and then,
Ring, wasn't it? Yeah.
and I think they've since done something, they've sold it to just one individual or something. But anyway, but I don't know, from what I've read, I thought this was pretty good. You know, my limited understanding of rules and stuff, but
Oh, you're pretty good at reading
Yeah.
that stuff.
this is,
We got some help from the Regional Planning Commission. There was a committee of the planning, the town planning commission that spent months on this, but
That was, I think I've mentioned this before, that was a quagmire because of all the change statute or wrong statutes cited.
I guess,
And then Kevin really looked at it close.
Yeah, good, okay.
Spent quite a bit of time.
until somebody challenges it.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
know.
that's usually the
That's right.
test is when you try to apply this, once we adopt it, and they say, so I don't know. It's pretty well done.
Yes,
Yeah.
so you folks would have at least one hearing.
Yes.
and then you have 120 days
Yeah.
to act on this.
Stuff with the deck, yeah, it's 120 days, yeah.
So does, what period of time are we required to have a hearing within a particular period of time?
It's not less than 15 nor more than 120 days.
Oh, okay. All
From
right.
their hearing.
From
Passing
get
it
it.
Okay,
to us.
so this official, we got it?
Well, actually, a week ago.
Because it went in our packet.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
So we need to have a hearing sometime in June?
You've made June, July, like
Yeah.
120 days. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's do it before we start here. I might miss a few
Tell me when
meetings.
you're gonna start, hey.
As soon as the weather tells me I can.
Okay, yeah.
But I was thinking maybe like middle or end of June, those two meetings. We got the 16th and the 30th.
Okay,
June might be, could we have 3 meetings?
yeah, okay.
Whatever meeting you discuss it at, it cannot be the next meeting.
Right.
Because it's 15 days.
Okay, so we gotta add, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Unless
next
it's a
week's
planning
24th.
commission meeting.
So we can either, the soonest we could have it is the 2nd of June, but.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so let me get in touch with Kevin. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay, appreciate it. Any other questions for Barbara? Oh, we did have communication from GMP saying, where are we with the pocket park? So we said Selectboard has approved design and authorized Otter Creek Engineering to do it. Barbara's handing out assignments, and you folks sent a picture of the kiosk you liked. So I think we kind of blew them away with all of the stuff that was moving along. That
And I
was
thought
nice.
I sent them specs as well. It's the kiosk thing seems to be kind of circular.
No, it's three-sided. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But we're showing GMP we're moving, which is a very nice thing. So, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the people working on the signage language, what will be written on the signs and shown on the signs for images will have a lot of work to do the next
Yes.
months.
Yep. Okay.
And we should finalize when we meet on the 14th, the Thomas subdivision, the 177 acres, and they want to take out a little more than 2 with the rental house and an outbuilding and maybe some other things I'm forgetting. So we have a hearing on that on the 14th. And we start the town plan process on the 14th with the Regional Planning Commission.
Okay. Good. Busy folks. Thank you very much. Please pass our thanks to the planning commission.
Will do.
Thank you. Okay. Next, Mike Delehanty.
No Mike, no Larry.
No Mike, no Larry. Marie Faignant, town lister.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, under action items, it's D, board to discuss the plan to reappraise and propose change to Patriot from Nemrick.
Okay, well, first of all, let's just start off with the basics. We did have our reorganizational meeting, so I'm officially the chairman. So all that means
Congratulations.
I get to come and visit with you. That's the purposes of the board of listers. One of the other thing is we did solidify the hours for the lister's office being open. We can guarantee Monday through Wednesday, 9 to 12:30 every day. With the exception of if I'm on vacation, because Kathy only works 2 days a week. So if that happens and she can't fill in that Monday or come in, then we'll have an announcement a week in advance that the office would be closed on Monday. We will be putting something out on the Bar Association listserv for them. We solidified it yesterday. The other thing is, Barbara, I am going to ask. So one of the things that I know Bill will know, since I've kind of joined the listers, is one of the things that I've asked for is like really great cooperation of the very different departments. And we've gotten great working rapport with Bill and Kari and everybody exchanging them information. But one thing that struck me as would be very helpful is if when you have an approval of a subdivision, if you could just drop an email to the listers or me or whatever, that would be so helpful, because we're constantly trying to catch them because we have to be the ones to make the line changes and everything in the grand list for the property maps and things. So that would be very helpful, especially boundary line adjustments. We usually catch it through checking the maps and the deeds, but a little advance notice sometimes when that it's actually been done is great. So,
Thank you.
but you're very welcome. So at last meeting, I said that one of the things that we had been approached by Nimerick to kind of give them an opportunity to come in. We had a 4-hour meeting with them on Thursday. It was very informative. And they are going to be submitting a bid for reappraisal. So they put the new .net up on there for us because, so you missed the last meeting when I was here. So after, I'll just go real quick. I got a phone call from Nimerick because they heard about what happened in a meeting in March about maybe switching to Patriot. Wanted us to be aware that their .net program was up and running and in being tested in 2 counties. So they've asked us to kind of give them an opportunity. So we did. It's very useful. It's got a lot of changes because the last one hasn't been done since they implemented it for the town of Ludlow in like 1987. So it was very informative. They're going to give us a bid. Don't know what that's going to look like or the time frame. So, but we are moving along with that. So,
and the state is okay with either?
So the state has indicated that we will remain out of compliance for as long as we don't have a reappraisal plan, but there's no recourse.
Yeah.
So and they've instructed us to just keep doing whatever we can do to see if we can get an appraisal that works for the town, works in the best interest of the town for information and everything. So that's what we're doing.
So they haven't chosen one system over the other. So if we pick the wrong one, we can still use.
So, they are not going to be doing that. So the word came down and I thought I had, reported on this before, but maybe I missed this
You did
part.
at the last meeting.
Yes. That they cannot enforce that provision.
Okay.
But what happened was Nimerick used to be the statewide, and then towns kind of wanted to do something on their own, and now they're trying to go back, and it's just going to be impossible. So they said that we are not tied, and there's no tie between the PTPI Catalyst and AP5 for purposes of mandating to go to a software. They won't be able to implement that.
Okay.
So that is very helpful information to know. They also indicated that the January 1st, 2027 deadline is not going to happen. That they're going to be that we would have to have our own contract because there's nothing in place that the state is going to do to actually help towns get an appraisal after that date if they can't get a contract for themselves. There's nothing implemented. Now, we did hear that the RAD districts are back on the table up through the legislature. They're trying to revive them.
And what are RAD districts?
Those are regional assessing districts where they're putting Rutland right now would be 33 towns in one district. And so this is what creates all this nuance and these uncertainties because you had VALA, which is the listers organization, Vermont Assessors and Listers Association, actually make a recommendation, but then apparently it's not a real recommendation and who knows, but that those districts all use the same software program and, you're not going to have Rutland City change for Pittsford or West Rutland or, you've got Ira and all the little towns. And so whether or not they go to a regional assessing district, they still aren't going to be able to make one assessing program. So that's the word that's coming down right now.
Does this prospective new Nimerick program affect our ability to track vendors for reappraisal?
Much better. Problem is, the problem, well, so the thing is when I say much better, the state has a very limited number of certified appraisers, and we have to use a certified appraiser. One of the appraisers that's on the list is apparently not a viable vendor, which we have just learned. They're not even here anymore. They're still on the list. So that explains why we never got a response to them. The problem is
You're not
getting.
surprised at any of this, are you?
No. We're just trying to work within the parameters that we have.
Kind of work within a broken system.
Yes.
And
but it wasn't really broke.
no, but
No,
they
if
tried
you
to
think
fix
about
it,
it.
and now
Right.
it's broke.
Right. It really wasn't broke by letting towns assess their properties. They might have needed some, nudging for reappraisal.
Right.
By, the state, but they had a pretty good system on hand saying, okay, if your numbers fall here, you need to reappraise.
Yeah.
Okay. Not 168 towns all at the same time with 20 appraisers, but to your question, Matt, a lot of these companies do not have the staff to be able to do them. So it's the data collection. So for Rutland Town is a big town, right? And it has data collection on a lot of different types of properties, and that not every assessing company has that staff that can do that. So we are very limited on who can do it. So, but the NIMRIC program, if we were, the preference would be able to stay with the NIMRIC program if it's upgraded. Okay, that's the preference. We keep all our historical data, everything, whereas we lose all of that with Patriot, which is significant information. How often do we go back? We do, believe it or not. You go back because there's times where something comes up with a piece of property and you have no idea what happened to it. There's no explanation. So you're going back through historical information. But the NIMRIC is a much more, I think it's a program that's going to be less intimidating to new listers. That is a concern. And if it's NIMRIC, we don't have dual expenses going forward.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to think about, but one of them is whether or not we can get an appraisal, whether or not we can afford to put it off. And one of the things that I'm doing is working with our DA, because that's our district advisor. She is the one who is, saying, you're going to be all right. You're good. Your town's good. And I've invited her to speak with me in greater detail for a better understanding of how our CLA and our COD and all these numbers are or are not affecting our education rate. So for purposes of trying to understand if we can delay that appraisal. Right now, the proposal is to 29. I don't know where NIMRIC's going to fall and if they can do it sooner or if it's going to be later. But, and that's basically it.
Well, thank you for the update.
You're very welcome.
So would a council I don't know, when the last appraisal was done?
In our town?
And it was a while.
2013.
Okay. So we're 13 years out.
Yes, we are.
Is there, to avoid running, of course, if they keep changing the rules, it's hard to make a plan. But if a town established some kind of schedule where after so many years, we're going to do it again or whatever, but that's probably hard to do if somebody else is making the rules and you can't do it until they tell you what the rules are.
Well, they're trying to get on a 6-year cycle.
6 years.
Every 6 years. And so the concern is that when you get on and you finally get one, so like we were under order last year. So we were supposed to have a plan and an appraisal within 180 days to have somebody. We alerted them that nobody responded. They continued to not respond. So because they can't fit them in the schedule, right? That's the thing. You only have so many certified appraisers who can do this. Some of them only do utilities. Some of them only do commercial. So that's the concern. So And a lot of the certified appraisers are actually being hired by the state to do the appraisals for utilities. Telecommunications is now changed from all the telecommunication property that used to be on our business personal property has now been mandated to be turned and treated as real estate. So we have to open all new files. The state is doing the assessment on those, and they're using some of these firms to do that property work. So it's kind of interesting.
Sounds like getting dump trucks built.
Right.
Limited number of people and everybody wants a job done.
Yep. But one thing, our taxpayers, one of the things that I was doing homesteads, we are in the thick of getting all the information to be able to put a grand list out. And one of the things that I noticed, I've kept a running list. I will be sending out letters to a lot of women in our town, because I do not believe women know, or people know, or taxpayers know, that if you change your name by either a marriage certificate or adoption or anything, if you own property under a certain name and you've changed your name, so you get married, that marriage certificate is ineffective for purposes of changing the name legally on their brand list record or anything for the property ownership until you sign and have notarized their certificate of name change. So I noticed a lot of women use their names, their married names, and their mortgages and, other records that are in the land records, but the deed is under the old name. So that's where the property is still under for grand list purposes. So it still comes to them. So if they want to make that change, we'll be sending out notices that they can send a certificate of name change, have it come in, signed, filed, and we can make that change.
So we pick an entirely different name?
Nope.
Right. Any questions for Marie? Refresh my memory. Did we lodge the grand list?
No, we're hoping that we've got a target date, but I won't tell you that because I don't want to be held to it.
Okay.
But we're hoping to do it sooner than we have in the last 2 years. Each year we've gotten better, but we're hoping to lodge it sooner.
Okay. What's the deadline?
Well, so that's the thing. So June 4th is the deadline unless we ask for an extension, which we're entitled to get anytime we need it. But so we've gotten extensions in the last couple of years because one when Howard left and that was that. And then the business personal property issue and things like that. I'm hoping to not have to ask for an extension this year to get it. But if I do, it's going to be for about a week.
Okay.
That's it. Just because
I've had some turnover.
I have, yes, but, and that's the other thing I did want to bring up. We have a board of lister opening.
Yep.
We've had 2 people make comments that they're thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm encouraging them.
I'm not buying it.
But, and Marcia and I were talking about this before we left, and she remembered that the state puts out a 3-page lister duties thing. So I'm going to ask Bill to put it in your packet.
Good.
For
Okay.
next thing. And I'm going to ask him if he'll put it on the website so that people can see what it is that we do, which is extremely exciting work. It really is. It's very entertaining. It's very brain work.
I would start with you get to go inside everybody's house.
Yes. And let me tell you, there are some incredible homes in this town.
He probably needs is a really chipper video from you that he can put on Facebook talking about how much fun you have.
Oh my gosh, I'm having such a great time. Let me tell you. No, it really is fun. It's amazing the talent and style and people and it doesn't have to be a big home. Some of the small homes we've seen are absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, but most part, it's a lot of fun meeting people and being able to help them. So that's really great. So, yes. So if anybody's interested in putting their name in, the letter has to be in by June 24th, the letter of interest.
We do the appointment, right?
You are.
Yeah. And then
Does the listeners do the interviews?
we do the interviews. I think you're going to offer guidance.
I will.
Yeah.
I would like to.
Well, this is a unique opportunity because if it's up in March, somebody runs, you have no say in what you got. At least now you got a little say,
Right.
which is kind of nice.
So I was asked by Rebecca Stevens to find out. We have a tax exempt issue that, was for them, a tax exempt request that was denied. And so she came in and asked, she did indicate she's gonna petition the town voters. And, but the statute says, and I distinctly refuse to be, give legal advice in that job.
Yeah.
I always just bring it back and say, can't do it.
I did ask Kevin this question.
Yes, but that's the question she wants to know is
Yeah.
whether or not she would be on this coming election, or does she have to wait for, and whether or not.
Well, there's two elections.
Right.
There's one in August.
Primary.
There's one in November.
Right.
And then, of course, you can go into
The March annual
the
meeting.
question I have for the lister position
Right.
is, do we need to put the name on a ballot at the next election?
Right.
But it's not a town election, it's a
Right.
That was a
federal.
clarification we've
Yeah.
asked every time.
Yes,
When you got your job, you had to run because we were having a revote of the school budget. So it was a
Ah.
town election,
yes.
and
right,
that's why.
right.
But normally, once you were appointed, you wouldn't have to do anything until March.
Right.
So this is a question we had,
So
was
if,
do the primary and then the November election, do they count as town?
and do we have to
Yeah.
vote at either of those two? And the same question for the tax exempt petition, assuming she gets one in time.
Right.
Do we have to
Was that
do
part
it
of
in August? Do we have to do it in November, or can we wait until March?
Right, because
So-
we won't have a town
I
ballot, right?
raised it. We won't have a town ballot.
On
but we
either
would be
election, yeah,
Probably hand counting.
or
but those
something.
are-
So
yeah.
I guess is that a
So that's
Secretary
another-
of State?
No, well,
or
I
is that
think
a
that's
Kevin?
another Kevin. I've raised it with him before, so I'll just really drill down.
Okay, because I didn't know if that would be like a Kari question dealing with her in charge of the elections, but you guys will figure that out.
And she's welcome to,
I know this comes up every
She's a
once in a while.
lawyer, and I know that, she'll be bringing that with them, but whether or not the town can have town issues at a federal elections, basically.
no, state election.
Yeah, state election.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
we voted on the bond for the Center Rutland Fire Station
Right.
on a November election.
But I think the statute does say something about a special meeting for that purpose, so again.
And when we actually specifically did that,
I think we could if we wanted to, but do
Right.
we have to? Is the
right, I think you can have, the town can vote on stuff in November.
Yeah.
And like I said, we did specifically put that bond issue out there because we were holding this presidential election and we wanted a lot of people to weigh in on the bond that we were asking for. And it worked out good, so.
Right, it's another Kevin question.
Very good.
Drill down on this one, yeah. Okay,
And that's it.
okay. Any questions for our new head lister, and congratulations, by the way.
Oh, why, thank you.
Okay. If not, thanks very much.
All right, you guys have a great night.
It's been exciting already.
Yeah, kinda. All right, Kari Clark, town clerk and treasurer.
Hello. What?
I said, well, I was hoping you weren't afraid to speak up.
Oh, I was starting to wonder.
Yeah. Kari, did you hear our little discussion just about when we have to vote on like a tax, a petition for tax, exemption or the lister's position versus when, do you have any preference? I mean, can we do, if Kevin says we can do it in either August or November, is there anything that you see that would create a problem for you?
Oh gosh, no. If he says that it's good to go, just let me know which one.
Okay.
Out of the two of them, I don't know if I can say this, but just kind of consider out of August and November, the more people that we get
Yes.
would probably be in one versus the other.
Yes.
So.
Okay. We didn't want to have you doing something you didn't want to do, so thanks for weighing in.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
As long as he tells me, it's okay. because a lot of times when I have questions about certain things like that, I'm finding a lot of the answers that I get back are, specific to what our town wants to do. So
Okay.
I'm glad that we're going to get his opinion and knowledge on that. So
Very good.
yeah, the only thing I have tonight really is to remind that the third installment for taxes is due on the 10th. I believe the 10th is Sunday. And so I will accept, or we will accept tax payments on Monday as on time. They just have to be in our office or in our hands by 4:30, and they will be accepted on time. I do my general reminder around this time that this is that last one of the fiscal year. And for anyone that hears this, they may want to make sure that they pay their bill on Monday, because the next day for the town of Rutland is the 8% penalty, which is higher this time for the end of the year. And then the town percent of 1. So 8% goes to the delinquent tax collector and the town keeps 1%. So essentially you're paying more in interest and penalties at the end of the fiscal year than you are during the regular time of the year. So that's my spiel.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically that's all I have. Nothing too exciting going on other than that, and just tying up some loose ends. I was out last week out of town, and Deborah held up the fort beautifully. She is amazing, and I just wanted to give her a shout out again. I've told her several times, but thank you for um doing the everything last week, and I came back to very little to follow up on, if anything. So it was great. And
Good.
if there's any questions, I can try to answer them. But other than that, I don't.
Oh, right. Have you received, Matt just reminded me, a request for a liquor license from, I think it's Maple Angus, to do the Rutland South Rotary raffle big event up at Spartan Arena on
30th?
May 29th?
30th or 29th. Yeah, I got it. It was yesterday that I approved it. So he's done and paid for, and he's all ready to go.
Okay. All right, good. We don't need to?
No, because it's a catering and I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Phew. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That would grind to a halt if we didn't have that in hand.
No, he's always great to work with, him and his wife. So
Good.
I'm always happy to help. Yeah.
Oh, is there a BCA meeting to do the grievance?
Yeah, we have a request for an abatement.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
And again, I was off last week, but before I left, I was contemplating when to have it, and it's definitely going to be sometime in the near future in May. Seemed like when I asked the BCA, their availability was better in May than it was last month. So, and I have contacted the owner, the person who made the request. She's a lovely woman, and she absolutely has no problem doing it whenever people are available. She's retired and she's ready whenever we are.
Thank you. Anything else for Kari Clark, our town clerk and treasurer? Sharon, anything? Nope. Okay. Kari.
All right. So have a good night, and next time I'll have some of the taxes, the stats for you on that.
Good. Thanks. All right, Joe Denardo, Public Safety Building Clerk.
Nothing new to report.
Ready? Is JP on?
He is not.
Okay. But he's obviously back in town because he stopped
Definitely back in town.
or up. Bill Sweet, Town Administrator.
Evening. Not much left to do. So you have, the last thing in your packet, is a reimbursement request. Mary, you have the entire thing with all the documents. Everybody else just got the highlight. This is, the number 8 for our route for JP sidewalk for that project. So
In this, it's number 1.
right, but it's reimbursement request number 8.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you have to
So basically.
approve signing it to ask for the money back.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Authorize the board chair to sign on behalf of the town.
Okay. So a second. Okay, questions?
One question. And I don't remember during our budgeting process where this is part of the engineering line and Dave's.
Yeah, sure
So
is.
at some point, we are going to have to address, and I think it may be in the next fiscal year budget, our 20% match of the construction phase of it.
Okay.
So what the way the accounting flows is any of the expenses for these grants get paid out of the expense line and they go back into a grant reimbursement line at the top. So the bottom line of the budget balances out, but the line may look like it's way over, but then the grant reimbursement line is going to be above what we expect it to. So yeah, at least most of it
It's
does.
just something that when we do little projects that are whatever, but this is a $750,000
Yes, it's a bigger
project or whatever it is, our share is like 150 grand.
Yeah.
So we just need to be mindful of.
Well, but our share is being paid in as we do this.
Right.
So we get back 80%.
I understand that too, but when you do 20% of 750, it's still.
Eventually that's gonna come around. Yeah.
It's probably spread over.
It's been over a couple of years, but I just wanna, I know this is gonna come up in November.
We've never had anything dedicated for like grant matching funds.
But I think we may have to this year.
We may.
Because this is one of the biggest projects we've done with a match from the town.
Yeah, so we're getting close to the easement portion that we need to do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the last big hurdles in the timeline.
Right.
So once we know that, I think we can get a better idea from Stephanie on like projecting our construction timeline, and then we know we can work backwards and figure out when we got
I'm figuring when we had that last meeting, we're hoping for next summer. It'll be within the next
getting close
next year's.
I did alert Kevin that there would be a request made at some point to do the easement work, so he's aware.
Yep.
So motion's been made and seconded to approve the reimbursement request and to authorize me to sign as chair. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0.
Excellent, thank you. And the next thing I got from Kevin yesterday, you all got copies in your email, is the license agreement with the city of Rutland for the radio tower, which Kevin gave. There were 2 versions Kevin had attached, a copy redlined and then a copy that was cleaned up. So you could see the difference in the 2. His changes were logical. I mean, what they were asking for, we like the insurance thing was a big one that we don't have what they were asking for, so we put in what we do have. So when I talked with him, he called me about this. He said, you know, we can sign this and send it back to the city, and then they could potentially do the same thing, or they could just sign it and be done.
So he made the changes, and in your packet is what, both the red line and it wasn't in your packet, it was on your desk. The red line and just the one ready
It's
to
the
go.
same, only one's
Yeah, the one toward the bottom, you see like the first page, 1.4 has some red text. That's the red line version. That's the one with corrections. The one that does not have that in section 1.4 has all of the changes he suggested incorporated.
The move to authorize the board to sign this on behalf of the town, the board chair to sign this on behalf of the town.
Second.
And the second, Vice Chair. Any discussion?
We'll send it to the city and see if we get it back.
New city attorney is Kevin Gustafson, who is a member of the Rutland Town Fire Department.
He's not officially in the job yet, is he?
I don't know.
I think it's this week.
Okay.
Threshold.
So did we just vote on that?
Yes.
All in favor of approving the license agreement with the city with the changes suggested by Kevin and authorizing me to sign, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Last couple random topics. Dave, Robert Clark, Andres, and myself had a discussion about the shared use path for Northwood Park. It is accurate to say we are not in violation yet, because we didn't say the project was actually done. So Robert is putting together some things to be submitted on our behalf to help move us along. So he's putting together a report and some other things to send back to the state to help us with that. But we have a plan. So we're going to be, Robert has some updates and some modifications need to be done, and we'll be in good shape. So Dave's going to get those, and then we're going to move on. So we're still moving forward on that and working with the state to make sure we're all set. Jared and I last week had a really good meeting with the vendor we bought the drone from, and we had our first flight with it, and it's
Did crash?
Oh no, we did not crash. No. It's incredible. It really is. So we are he's finishing up what he needs to do to have his actual FAA license. We got a couple things we got to do, but we're once he's done with that, we'll have it basically available. And it is quite a tool, and we knew a lot about it. We learned a whole lot more the other day. So we were up in Northwood Park for probably about 2 or 3 hours flying it, and it's great.
So that will be part of the townwide celebration?
Absolutely, it can be part of all sorts of things.
Demonstration of
That'd be
our
nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
thing.
One of the things you can do is you can set like a geofence. You can say, I want you to patrol this area, and you can set like pin waypoints around Northwood Park, and it'll just fly around and take video and pictures as long as the battery holds out.
That dog issue.
We
right
can-
by the
we can-
post,
Oh, yeah.
we could. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So so we got to swap batteries, but yes, that is a possibility to patrol that, and you would not know what's watching. It's
Is it pretty quiet?
it's very quiet, especially at 400 feet. You can't even see it.
Okay. Well, the one that used to follow me around when I was working in the field was not loud, but till you slowed the tractor down, then I could hear. It was a noisy little thing.
Yeah, no, this is not noisy. I mean, when it's close, especially when it's taking off or landing, like there's more noise. But no, we flew around, and it's
So that has, if I remember right, the ability to work with the dog, right?
oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
yes.
so-
It has a night vision camera, and we have infrared lights that the police officers can use. Put one on Rooster, and it's invisible to the naked eye, but the drone can see that clear as day where that light is, and it can follow it very easily.
Be most helpful predominantly with nighttime tracking.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Jared will be able to communicate to me directly, by radio, that we're coming up on somebody or a key signature. The state police have done it for the search and rescue stuff, and it just works
Good.
really, really well. So the two go hand in hand.
Good.
Yep. Well, thinking like we were at the forest fire today in Proctor for quite a while. That's one of those uses. If it got to be nighttime and you wanted to know, you could put that up in there and you could see where it was without any difficulty.
I might have let slip to the city when we were doing the intermunicipal committee that we had a drone. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's very interesting.
Well, this was 2 years ago that there was a large 50-acre wildland fire.
Yeah.
And there's a group, through UVM, Forests and Parks had them come and have a couple.
Yep.
And they're flying around this 50-acre fire.
The one in Fairhaven?
Huh? Yeah.
Well, Fairhaven fire, there was a lot of drones used for that. Yeah. Just for that reason.
And they allows them to see where stuff is. I don't know. Well, I suppose at some point you can keep track during the day. You'll be able to keep track of resources.
Yep.
Where guys are, but
it has capability to, you put it over an area and it can count people, vehicles, boats. We turn boats off because
so
that.
it does have the ability to track heat signatures, right? This is what I'm just saying.
You can see them, you can plot like the coordinates. So if
it's like a thermal imaging camera.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's thermal imaging. There's a separate camera for thermal imaging on it. So if if we're flying and you see that and nobody's around you can say it's over here and send them to it. So
it will count people by itself.
Yes. Well, with tell too. Like it doesn't just do it, but
you have to
no.
So we can put it up if you want to know how many people show up to downlight celebration. And
you can do that. Yep. It'll give you a pretty accurate count. We
you got any idea how long it takes?
Didn't take very long the other day. I don't know. We haven't flown it over a crowd, so we don't know. So
using on my celebration use though.
It absolutely will be. Because you can link the controller to a screen, so we can have a screen there to show a bigger screen to show what's going on, but what it can do.
That would be kind of cool.
We could have a test run at the Friday Night Live event. Yep.
Yeah.
If Jared's gonna,
you talk through the thing.
Yes.
Yes.
PA system on make announcements. Is it
Yeah.
two-way?
We didn't get that far yet. We ran out of time with the guy that was helping us, but I'm not sure, but it's at least is the voice, and it has we have spotlight. We got the spotlights for it, and those can be used to illuminate an area from above. And he says even at 200 or 300 feet, it still does an excellent job. But they can also be turned on if you have someone that is combative. You can actually turn on a strobe light effect, and it disorients the person. And they said it is very effective, very effective. So, and it just takes a couple bursts, and it can do that too. So,
Count during my back metal with it.
People, cars, and boats. You can see the heat signatures for them for sure, but
sure you could.
yeah. So we're still moving forward on that, and it's going to be it really is going to be a pretty amazing tool for everybody around. Last thing, we had the ground penetrating radar survey of the cemetery done, and we had found I think it was 18 in the first 2/3. We found 30 this time.
Wow.
So if you go by in the daytime, there's a whole mess of orange flags.
Wow.
Marty has been helping me, and we make the stones. We got the stones numbered and sealed, and Monday, probably Monday or Tuesday next week, we'll be putting them down so the lawn can get mowed and won't be a problem. But yeah, that's a lot. So that's about 48 or 49 that we have that aren't marked. That we don't. That's all we know at this point is that they don't have a marking on them. Yeah, so that's all done. So the next step will be the fence. That'll be a different
That was
conversation.
the oldest cemetery in town.
It very well could be. There's some very old markers there.
Competitive with a couple others.
Yeah, next door. Yeah.
Wonder, it's you don't disturb old graves, but it'd be interesting to see if you could research, pick one and just see.
I did find the map. I have the map of the cemetery, but the map is absolutely for that cemetery, but it doesn't do an excellent job of lining up. So we're gonna have to look into that a little bit.
People forgot to write it down.
Well, but even where they said they are written down, it doesn't quite make sense. So
Do you think these that
I know.
were they ever marked, or is some of them have sunk?
So he didn't see any stones that were like below the grass. He says a lot of times, people that couldn't afford a stone just
Yeah.
couldn't afford a stone. So somebody got buried and there's no marker there. So, and here he said we actually have a family plot because there's corner markers, which I didn't realize, but there's corner markers. So that area inside that was meant for was purchased by a family. And there's some that have headstones and footstones, but they also face two and sometimes I think we have three different directions, which is very unusual. So we don't know why that happened, but
Cemetery.
yeah, but Tom Giffen actually was stopped by when he was here. I let him know that was happening. He stopped by and got to see it in action. So
Good.
yeah, very good.
Okay. Anything else?
That's everything. I don't have any updates on the disaster recovery process. That's we're not there yet. So
Action items, we did A, we did B, we did C, we did D. Rental housing code, we need to do sometime. So we'll pass over that. Disaster recovery,
Yep.
or it's there. Update select board project list. I do have a question. Is the Simons Avenue intersection reconstruction, is that a dead issue now because of cost?
Well, we're still trying to figure out funding.
I think it's as much of an issue as the service road. Like they're kind of in the same thing. We
Okay.
want to do them, but
We just got to
All
figure out
Yeah.
whether, I just
So-
don't know if there's any, if you have this stuff, Brett, whether we could come up with some funding, because you never know when the state's going to release, or
Yeah,
somebody might release some money for road improvements, or,
yeah, the feds might. Who
Yeah,
knows? Okay, well, we'll leave it there with the hope that someday that does happen.
yeah.
Okay, and committee meeting reports. No, Matt and I are meeting with police tomorrow, so, yeah.
We do need to
Is there
schedule a
any-
highway at some point.
Yeah.
you have ordinances on there. Is there any particular ones you want?
No, I guess it was a question of which really need to be looked at.
Okay.
Because there are some that could be wildly out of date, or that we've said we really need to address that.
Yeah.
So,
You said the camera thing will be different tomorrow.
Yeah, because we get to talk about some. Yeah, we can do that tomorrow.
okay, is there anything else from anybody? Sharon? Anything else?
Sure.
Oh, bless your heart. Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Aye.